Welcome, everyone. Let us begin with a prayer. Let's close our eyes. Let's pray to God and Gurus. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I bow to the omnipresent, omniscient God. I bow to all the sages and saints of all religions, all places, and all times. I bow to the Kriya Yoga lineage, the masters, and I bow to the divinity in each and every one of you. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. This is a true global meet. We have people from all over the world. Welcome to you all. My name is Kaushal Gokli, and I live in a suburb of Los Angeles, Claremont, Upland, California, and that's where I'm speaking from. So Phil Baba asked me that I should talk about scary things today because it's Halloween. And with Halloween, I should be talking about scary things. So I thought that would be an interesting topic. Let me think about scary things. However, after some struggle, I decided not to talk about that because there is nothing scary about meditation. There's nothing scary about Kriya Yoga. It's about love, it's about peace, it's about joy, it's about happiness, it's about no fear of death. So I decided not to talk about that and instead choose a different topic, which is the science of breathing. I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation. Science of breathing. So today I wanted to talk about some of the quotes from the masters about our breath, and then the benefits, uh, the benefits of breathing, and the breath and mind. There is a relationship between breath and mind and how it works. I'll talk about that. And then this discourse cannot be complete without talking about Patanjali's Eightfold Path, which the fourth limb on that is pranayama, which is controlled breathing. So I'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about Kriya Yoga and breathing. We'll tie in Kriya Yoga with breathing. How is Kriya Yoga using breathing to accelerate our spiritual journey? And then if time permits, there'll be a concluding story. So that's the topics we'll talk about. So let's start with some of the quotes from our masters. Our beloved Gurudev says, breath control is self-control, breath mastery is self-mastery, and breathlessness stage is deathlessness stage. I'm sure you may have heard this because Gurudev has talked about this many times. And breath control. So with breath control, and control meaning the breath, the rhythm of the breath, the way we would take our breath, and with that we can control ourself. We can achieve mastery on ourselves. So with that, we have a mastery of our mind, on our mind, and mastery on our life. Ultimately, we reach a stage with breath control, which is the breathlessness stage, where there is no breath or feeble breath or little bit breath. And with that, you reach a stage of deathless stage. And that's what Gurudev very profoundly states here. By breath control and breath mastery, one attains calmness. And with calmness, it is godliness. Okay, so Gurudev was in Europe and he was traveling, and he was at this counter where there is an officer there asked Gurudev, "What is your religion?" And Gurudev's response was, "Breath is my religion." What a profound statement. Guruji, in his discourse in Brazil, talked about his top priorities in life. He said, "God is my number one priority. My second priority is my breath. And the third is knowledge and books." So masters are showing us the importance of breath and how we can use breath to advance our spiritual journey. So we are not talking about here the mechanical exercise of breathing, where you breathe in and breathe out, and the oxygen goes in the lung and it circulates through the body. That's the mechanical part. But then with the scriptures, there is a beautiful further meaning of breath with spiritual side and divinity side. So breath, of course, helps us stay alive, but there is a lot more we can do with our breath. And that's what we'll be talking about. So let's talk about the rate of breath per minute. In a normal human being, in an average life, we are taking about 15 to 18 breaths a minute. Okay. During sexual act, it could go up to 20 to 30. When we are angry, we are resentful, we are anxious, the rate could go above 30. And with the sustained that kind of a level, one could get heart attack or even die. So the more agitated our mind is, the more breath rate increases. We know dogs go very high when they're excited. They go like, very many breaths in a minute. So if we sleep, when we are sleeping, our rate goes down to about 10 a minute, which is a state where we do not have our body consciousness and we are really relaxed and we get really good rest. And that's with low rate of breath. Elephants take about 10 breaths a minute and they live over 100 years. Tortoise, crocodiles, they take about 4 breaths a minute, and some tortoise, large tortoise, live 300 years. So they are also tied in, the breath rate is tied in with longevity. The longer, the slower the breath, the longer the life. If we equate our 15 breaths a minute, that comes to 4 seconds of breath. So 2 seconds for inhalation and 2 seconds for exhalation. That's not enough time. In 2 seconds, you cannot get enough oxygen in the lung, and then it would circulate in the body. So slower breath with more oxygen going into the body is necessary for the vibrancy of the body, mind, and intellect. So as we breathe, let's say if we take slow, long, deep breaths, inhalations. Let's say, for example, I'm going to just take a breath, a long, deep breath. At this rate, I could be taking about 4 breaths a minute. With that, my mind would become calm, quiet. Also, a lot of oxygen. When you breathe slow, you are getting a lot of oxygen in the lungs, and oxygen then purifies the blood, and the blood, pure blood, has that hemoglobin with protein, which then travels through the 72 billion vessels and tissues in the body. So the more, the slower the breath, the more oxygen going in the body, more oxygen, more vibrancy, more energy, less fatigue, and all the physical benefits as well as other benefits we'll talk about. So for healthy and lustrous life, you want to have slow, long breaths. Okay, for all-round development of physical, mental, and spiritual. Breath and state of mind. There is a direct relationship between breath and the state of mind. During the emotional state, when you are under fear, stress, lust, anger, breaths are very fast. And as you become angrier, the breath gets faster. Whereas if you are calm and you are peaceful in that state, your breath becomes slow and rhythmic. The other way is also true. When you control your breath and become slow and rhythmic in your breathing, then your mind becomes calmer, right? So here is, if somebody is really angry, you cannot say that I'm now going to control my mind and tell the mind, stop being angry. It doesn't work. The anger stays. But what if you locked the doors, went behind a room and did some deep breathing? And with several breathing, your mind will calm down. Yeah, the anger will vanish and you'll become more peaceful. So decrease the rate will increase the control over the mind and make mind more peaceful, more calm, and more serene. Mind is a monkey. Mind is full of thoughts. Mind cannot function without thoughts, needs thoughts constantly, a constant flow of thought, jumping from one thought to another. Now, how do we calm this mind down? And that's where breath is the controller of mind. Breath controls the mind and makes it calm, makes it peaceful. We want our mind to be peaceful and not restless. We want our mind to be concentrated and not scattered. We want our mind to be happy, not distracted, disturbed. We want our mind to be alert, not lethargic. So if you want to make our mind peaceful, concentrated, focused, alert, happy, then breathing rhythmically and deeper is important. At this point, I would like to talk about Patanjali's eightfold path of Ashtanga Yoga, where Amit Baba a couple of weeks ago talked about Yama and Niyama, the first two limbs of the Ashtanga Yoga, Yama and Niyama, right? So he talked about Yama and Niyama. So Yama is self-control. So self-control is not stealing, not hurting people, not killing people, not lying, ahimsa. That would be self-control, Yama. Niyama would be observances. Observances could be your religious observances, your surrender to God, purity, chastity, the charity you would do. So these are niyamas, observances. So those two are important on the path to the self-realization. And the third comes asanas. Asanas is important even for our breathing and pranayamas, because asana is the correct posture. You'd be sitting while doing pranayams, breathing. So If your spine is not straight and it is bent, it does not allow free flow of prana, free flow of energy, breathing. It obstructs. And when it obstructs, you don't have the energy going up. So the asanas are important in that sense. And the next comes pranayama. So fourth step in this path is pranayama, the control of prana. And we'll talk more on that in the next slide. But before that, I wanted to then talk about the next 4 steps on this path. Pratyahar, which is the withdrawal of senses, dhrana, the concentration, dhyana, the meditation, and samadhi, the super conscious state. So definitely breathing, pranayama is the right step on the way to achieving the highest state of self-realization, samadhi, the breathless state of samadhi. So let's talk about pranayama. So pranayama is control of prana. By the way, there are some words in Sanskrit you cannot translate. They're non-translatable in English. For example, prana is one, which there is no real translation we can make in English. However, we can improvise and explain. Another word is Om. Om really does not, you cannot translate Om into any language. Om is Om, right? So, but you have to experience that to understand the meaning. And Sanskrit has given good meaning of all this, but cannot be translated into English. So prana means the vital force governing and moving the whole body. That's the vital force in our body, and that's prana. So pranayama is the control of prana. Is prana and ayama, which is the sandhi, which is prana, which is the vital force, and ayama is the control. So control of prana is pranayam, and breathing motion is the most obvious manifestation of prana. So that's where we connect prana with breathing. Okay, so controlling the breathing motion in our body is pranayam. Inhaling, holding, and then exhaling. I wanted to share a couple more quotes. Gurudev says, "This is your life. You should not waste time. If you love your life, then watch every breath. Waste time with none but God." What a profound statement. Gurudev is saying that watch your breath constantly, every breath. And if you watch your breath, every breath, if you can watch going in and out all the time, you would rise in your spiritual journey very quickly. Your mind would be under control as well. So it is a very, very powerful technique to watch every breath. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. As we start watching our breath, our mind starts playing games with us. Mind starts going somewhere else. They start thinking about future and past and worries and anxieties. And pretty soon our mind is distracted and we stop watching the breath. So try that. Try to watch your breath. See how long you can continue. And over time, with practice and with Kriya Yoga meditation, you would be able to watch every breath. Another quote from Gurudev: "The ocean and the wave are one. Breath and God are one. Similarly, thought and God are one. You should watch your breath. Whenever any thought comes to you, you should always watch that God has given that thought to you." We know God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. God is in our body. How do we get in touch with the God? So Gurudev says, breath and God are one. Through breath, through the manifestation, through the pranayam, you could get to know God. With that, I also wanted to say that Guruji is now meditating more than 10 hours a day. He is traveling all over the world. He's taking about 100 flights a year. He writes 4 to 5 books, 3 to 5 books a year. He helps all of us. He's helping the whole society. A lot of people all over the world. He spends all this time, but he is not tired. He is energetic, always smiling. He has total control over his breath, and with that, he is always there helping, and is energetic and not fatigued. Something we can take inspiration from. With that, I wanted to conclude my my discourse with a story, and this story is about a king, and this king is has a minister, and this minister who did not obey the king, and king with all this power was mad. So king asked the minister, king imprisoned the minister on top of a tower. This tower was very tall and there was no way out of it. So he was pretty much imprisoned for life till the minister would perish. So minister was on top of this tower, and he was imprisoned there. And at night, the minister's wife, she came there at the bottom of the tower. She was crying and she was saying, how can I help you? The minister said, don't cry, don't worry. Please go home and bring these supplies for me. Tomorrow, come back tomorrow night and bring these supplies with you. Bring a beetle, insect, the beetle, with that bring a tinge of honey. Also bring a silken thread, bring pack thread, bring stout twine, and lastly, bring a long rope. So bring these 6 things for me and come back tomorrow. The wife went home. She was wondering why would the minister want all these things, but she followed their directions, and next night came back with all these things. Now, the minister instructed to the wife, said, put the beetle on the wall of that tower and spray a little bit of honey on the horns of the horns of the beetle, and then tie a tight knot with the silken thread to the beetle. Beetle tried to chase the smell of the honey in front of him, and as he went up the tower in search of that smell, honey, and reached the top, minister got hold of the beetle and then got hold of the silken thread. Then minister asked the wife to tie that silken thread to a pack thread. And then he pulled the pack thread up. Through that, then the next was stout twine. Tie the stout twine to the pack thread, and then the minister pulled it up. And at the end, they tied a long rope, and minister pulled the long rope up. With the help of the long rope, he tied a tight knot to the top of the tower, and he came down with the help of the rope. And he reached freedom. Our life is similar. In our body, it's a similar analogy. The breath motion is the silken thread. By controlling the breath motion, you can grasp the pack thread, which is the nerve currents. And with the controlling the nerve currents, you can get to the stout twine, which are our thoughts. And by controlling our thoughts, by removing our thoughts, you could then grasp the long rope, which is the rope of prana. And the rope of prana, and by controlling the prana, one can reach freedom. One can reach self-realization. One can reach free from all the errors, illusions, delusions in the life. So breath is an important thing in our life and in our spiritual practice. And with that, I'm going to conclude my presentation. Okay, so let's do our general meditation. It's non-Kriya meditation, but let's do the general meditation. Everyone, please close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Your spine is straight to allow the free flow of prana through the spine, Sushumna. Concentrate between the two eyebrows, which is the soul center. Concentrate in the soul center. No thoughts, total concentration, 100% concentration. Our mind has become peaceful, quiet. Now, let us notice our breath. Breath going in the nostrils, through the nostrils and coming out. Observe the breath. As you observe your breath, your concentration increases, mind becomes very quiet, thoughts disappear. Again, concentration back in the soul center between the two eyebrows. Now, we'll take a slow, long, deep inhalation, hold, and bow down as much as you can. Exhale. Normal, conscious breathing. Attention on the top of the head. See the blood rushing to the head, the energy in the head. Concentrate there. Your spine is stretched, it's magnetized. Take a slow, long, deep inhalation. Hold and slowly sit up. Exhale. Concentration between the eyebrows in the soul center. Now we will take some long inhalations and exhalations from the bottom of the spine to the top of the head. So from the bottom of the spine, inhale love, exhale peace, inhale love, exhale peace, inhale love, Exhale peace. Inhale love. Exhale peace. Inhale love. Exhale peace. Inhale peace. Exhale love. 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 Normal conscious breathing. No attention on the breath. Concentration in the soul center. No thoughts. 100% concentration. Stay there. Notice your transformation. Notice the state of the mind, peaceful, quiet, serene, no thoughts. You can feel the presence of God. As Gurudev said, calmliness is godliness. Now, let us say a prayer with closed eyes. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urva rukameva bandhanan mrityor mokshiya mamrutat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urva rukameva bandhanan mrityor mokshiya mamrutat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urva rukam eva bandhanan mrityor mokshiya mamrutat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Pranams.